here with the first round. And we'll see the bands come through first, of course. Montaigne is going to be the first operator to get knocked out of the pool here, so that will be an interesting one to see, specifically here for Oregon, and the band coming from G2 as well. M80, I do believe, has tried to use him a little bit, but it's not necessarily been a mainstay by any extent. So
it's a usual addition for M80, I would definitely say.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to spirits, he definitely likes his shield play. We already saw that blitz, and usually end up trending back towards Monty on something like this.
So that'll make sense when everything is said and done. Ying as well, making perfect sense as far as Oregon is concerned. The Azabi band will be the first defender, so everything proceeding pretty much as we saw back on map number 1. We'll see if it's going to be a direct echo for the defenders here, if we get the mirror band, or if maybe they're feeling something a little bit different and just allowing the mirror to come into play. Nah, G2 does not want to mess around with the mirror, so they're just knocking that one right out. Not a part of their defensive strategies, so they'll get rid of it for M80 here. And we'll get ourselves into round number 1. Let's see if G2 is able to continue the rampage now. As like we said in the pregame, they do have the defensive start, so a little bit of an advantage, in my opinion, at least given to them there also. Basement is the usual expected first site that they'll go into. Delay composition seems to be the way to play this. Well, Doki will be messing around a little bit upstairs, and I imagine Benja too. So he'll be on the Mozzie there, so he'll pre-deploy all of his utility. Whereas Doki kind of needs to run around the map to be able to properly deploy his utility, since it's, those who don't know Legion, of course, it's gained throughout the round. Those little mines that he can stick into his opponents, they're invisible as well. They have a little translucent effect if you're looking closely enough, but can be hard to spot if you're just rolling through a room as a normal player. Sticks you with it, it'll stop you from sprinting, and you have to go through a whole 4 to 5 second animation to pull it out. So it is quite inconvenient. It also does a rolling dot on you as well if you do not take it out quickly enough.
Yeah, pretty annoying. Also, way back in the day, John, you could actually see those things throughout the entire building as Legion. So he was also like the most amazing info gatherer ever, because you would just listen for a break or just be staring out over, you know, at like a window, like say we're playing Villa, right? Like we just were over in AVG. So you put one all the way over on like, you know, the master closet. You could see that when they jumped into it. It was absolutely ridiculous. They've toned that down a bit, but still an amazing op that you can fit into practically any lineup. He just works. The goo mines are fantastic. You have impacts to be able to assist with site setup or potentially denial of some hard breach. Just really depends on what you want out of the kit. But again, very easy to try and bring into the fold. M80 is going to be droning out everything, and I mean everything. Spears is going to check the top floor, but has he missed one mark? I think Benja might have slipped through the cracks, but no, not anymore. Definitely as that drone was outside. More than likely saw him, and they'll see each other. So Benja will pick that one up.
So with M80 continuing to clear things out, let's see them put into position over here. Benja with the spray going up 2 floors for it as well. Nearly is able to grapple against Iaga. Forces him back. Gomez with a potential drop to try and trap out Benja, but Benja, he's going to go for it all the way to the top of the stairs. No one watching it, but he pre-fires the wrong spot. Has bad intel. Thinks there would have been someone hiding out behind kitchen, having a watch established for the back stairs, but not going to end up being the case. G2 now peel all their aggression away from Freezer. A big stack on the outskirts of it here, as they're looking to still line themselves up for the drop from M80. We have no one from M80 trying to push this part of the map, by the way, so G2 kind of expecting something that is not going to be happening in any near point in the future here, but still just try to be prepared for it, as they'll more than likely expect the back push to be the play from our attackers.
I'm going to have that damage off onto Yaga, but it's going to come down to the last minute to decide the first round, but to be expected with a basement assault. G2 want to try and rest on the utility, make sure they can use that to its fullest. Oh, Virtue doesn't get it. It won't, yeah. Went a little bit too far there. Won't even get the ADS over in the corner either, so a little unfortunate there for DS. Doki will still be able to maintain his position inside of tower. M80 have not been able to deal with a lot of the pressure points of G2's setup. They're going to try and work their way into Laundry, which is the harder side of this coin. We've seen this go wrong for a lot of teams, but it's going to begin right here for M80. Big kill, though, for Benja. This will at least slow it down for the time. Case is going to be on Kino. They have to quickly try and find some space for this. The Goyo will go off. That's going to delay a lot of time here. Those are 20-second canisters. A rush through from Kino. He gets up in the face of Benja. Doki drops him behind. He now has Case control. A huge play from him. 2 versus 1. Bring it back under for Kino. Yaga has the overwatch. Alamau, he doesn't know where this is going down. They're going to move around, go for the kill. He's got the pick. And now he just has to play inside the corner. Yaga, he moves. He rotates. Alamau shuts it down. The Brazilian god in EU cleans it up.
They're gonna go.
M80 just silent as Alamau screaming at them from the other side of the table. You'll love to see it. G2 locking down a very important round number 1 here for themselves, gets them out of the basement and on to the second floor here, where they're going to try and lock in the kids' defense next. Activates a little bit more aggressive play from them as well, so they're not going to have to worry about that bunker setup. Apparently, they're going to worry about the delay comp, as Doki's going to go from the lurking menace to the annoying block standing in front of this execute here on the Clash.
No running in the halls, says Doki. The Clash here. See if he can hold things down over on the Masters side. M80, all things considered, John, they did a pretty bang-up job of trying to get the entries there. I mean, the laundry side, it is so hard to try and deal with a lot of the swings coming in from the defense, and still able to get that down to a plannable position. Just Alamau too strong from where he was set up. Able to work things out, MacGyver his way into the angles and closet. Finally able to shut down M80's last little angles of their assault. And now for G2, looks like they're going to start things off in Big Tower just for a moment. Virtue getting rid of a drone and going to rotate in through the second level here. Spirits on to the Amaru though. See the Gara hook swing through here quite quickly. You see M80 trying to figure out what they want to do with this tower position, and I think Virtue's here to stay. Where's Waldo? He's in T1, that's the answer, John.
Virtue not going to be found out just yet, and the drone's not spotting him either, but there we go, now they will. Virtue gets popped out of coverage. A second drone confirms his retreat. Thankfully, no one from M80 in position to immediately frag him. Neither of the barricades have been popped, so he remains safe and is given the opportunity to evacuate, just as we see Spirits, of course, take up the T3 positioning and get himself ready for his descent back down onto the lower platform.
Well, M80 vying for position a lot across Big Tower there, but ends up only being a one-front assault. So they give up some drones to get their member in there. Start trying to push things down on the Master side. Everything barricaded up here. Going to try and get some drones in to assist this. They'll know the Clash is in play, but now they have to try and find a way to deal with this. They don't have any of the traditional ways that we see of dealing with Clash, like Zofia. She isn't worked in nearly as often as she used to be. Still a fantastic op, but since they've set her up as a 3 armor, just haven't seen her nearly as much when it comes to the entry game. Blair's going to get a big pickup onto Gomez, some damage back onto Benja as well as Alamau. Spirits now getting into this, and Virtue will get it from down low. G2, they're keeping the back door wide open in case there's a rainy day. Bring the dogs back inside, G2. They'll smoke 3 members of M80. Try and bring it back towards site. A lot of different angles to play into this as well, as Yaga will be able to pick up one.
Yaga tries to work himself up to the top of white. G2 more than ready for this challenge, though Doki still standing defiantly in the way of this one. Yaga to find the clip of Blur at least, so M80 still staying in the fight. How prominently is still yet to be seen here with Diaz literally stuck. Oh, Doki! Looks the wrong way, downs himself, the Nitro's off point. Benja's not immediately in position to counter it, even with the Nitro thrown out there. He's working on rushing himself upstairs, trying to get the trade when Doki's finished off, it looks like. No, he'll be caught too, as Yaga has his own counter flank. A triple now on the round from Yag. And the confirmation onto Doki along with that. Virtue, all that remains, but he's gonna crack shot! 2 in a row from him on the heads! As he saves it in the clutch for G2.
Calibrate that scope. Gilly in the mist from downrange. Smokes himself too.
Few wood chips from the door barricade there. probably going along with him, as that is a pixel shot, if there ever was one, to shut out the players from M80 immediately as they try to peek out into the open.
Yeah, sending splinters right there. Incredible from G2 as they've round up 2 rounds where M80 have had a full-on assault, practically braiding G2's entire defensive setup, but they're still able to work it out. And by the way, both of those a 1vx situation from 2 different players. Alamau, the first one to get it, our Brazilian, and then immediately after that we get it from the Aussie himself in Virtue. Polar opposites when it comes to planet basis. Existing on 2 completely different sides, but both of them pretty damn good at Rainbow Six Siege.
Definitely the case, as G2 now looks to really lock in their advantage and potentially prompt an early tack pause from M80 here by trying to lock in round number 3. Full refresh of the attacking roster as well for M80. Few operators just getting switched around, it looks like. But overall, we're going to end up with the Habana, the Yana, the Sledge, the Osa, and the Flores are what M80 will deploy towards on this round. Pretty balanced composition at the end of the day here. The entry for Spirits, Yaga on soft breach, Kino on hard breach, Gomez on utility clear, and then Diaz as well, assisting with the execute utility there by having those shields. Let's see the path they'll try to take into it. I believe we're going to be actually on the inside of Cafeteria for this one. That could potentially prompt a tower take because of that. Small tower, that is.
How long can Virtue exist in his bio?
What?
That was Diaz?
Yeah.
I'm not even going to lie to you. I didn't think that was him. I didn't think he killed him right there. He didn't even mean to do it.
They have it? Is there a drone anywhere around there?
No, he just shot the barricade.
Pre-fired like with a 1-tap and just absolutely aced it, apparently.
Listen, there's a reason why you just spam random walls in this game, and it's because of that stuff right there.
I really wish we had Doki's camera, because that would have been one of those moments where just like arms are up, like, what did I do?
Well,
like, what did I do wrong?
That was very fun and interactive.
So Spirit's going to try to make a wrap. There is another member of G2 waiting around the corner. Virtue gets some assistance, apparently, from Benja down below. The trap setup is sprung for G2, and they strike twice to get those kills back. Doki's death matters not that much anymore here with the frags they have been able to find.
That was just gross. Rotero drones in. Virtue, he stays alive. Gomez gets him, though, with the explosive device. Minute and 20 seconds, and I think that might be our first Rotero drone death here, this event. I think actually somebody ended up killing themselves with their own Rotero drone, maybe?
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
I know we've had a few team kills of Goyo canisters, too. So.
That's a little bit more self-explanatory, though. I mean, you play with fire, you're bound to get...
Yeah, that's just, like, unfortunate timing for players crossing angles and stuff like that a lot of the time.
But in the same line, I guess if you play with explosives, you're down to blow up, right?
Yeah.
I mean...
Thermite knows a lot about that.
Yeah, so does his hands. Those things are kind of torched up a little bit, depending on the skin that you're playing. Stuns in now. That was M80. They've been stalwart in this position, John. They haven't wanted to really progress here. G2, they found a lot of very good positioning, but Ben just sends it into small tower. He gets restless, and he's dead because of it.
Gomez with a second here as well. Brings G2 down to only 1. A triple on the round from Gomez. Blur in the 1v3 here. Trying to find the right timing for this peak, but it's the big swing from Gomez again. Quad on the round for him. Massive individual effort coming out here as M80 looks to rebound.
Oh my. Perfect shot there, and actually it does look like he did have a little consideration to Doki potentially being on that angle.
Yeah, I was about to say, because there's like no way that was his like first shot. Like,
yeah, he saw the little wood piece just missing. There was like one little slat missing out of the bottom of the window there. He was like, huh, if I was on defense.
It's a 600 IQ moment, really.
Yeah, I might want to abuse that to shoot at my team.
If I was on Rome.
Yeah, exactly.
This is where I'd position myself behind big window. Oh, apparently he would position himself there too. Good to know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's just like one of those situations.
Perfectly struck, my friend, indeed. So, unfortunate for Doki, tries to get that little cheeky angle there with that little board slat missing, but well met from M80. Able to MacGyver that into a round later on. Some interesting setups here from G2, as if you probably noticed, there's no shield down low. There's no rotation that's been made here. Okay, never mind. Okay, thanks, Alamau. Yeah,
Just a little late.
Yeah. Clocking in late, huh? third time this week.
They've got like 2 minutes before they even get to that part. It's fine, plenty of time.
So 15 minutes before the customers show up, man. Come on. I can still make a cup of coffee.
We're going to see the players from G2 wait in those aggressive positions if they have established them at all. Benja, oh, nicely done here. He's got the stolen drone.
Oh, this is a gross drone spot, too.
So attacker is definitely not going to expect this, giving Benja quite a bit of play capability when the tower clear comes forward. Speaking of which, we have Gomez. Here we go. He knows the play is working itself towards yellow. Shots coming out also. Not landing truly just yet against Gomez here, but Gomez also being assisted with a drone working itself towards him. Now with the relocation of his stolen drone, we'll try to take that a little bit closer to Gomez here, see if they can hunt him down. Gomez, as far as I'm aware, is alone too, so if they do manage to corner him with at least 2 players, should be a guaranteed kill. There we go, yeah, Gomez out for the count. Benja finally able to pull the trigger. Doki as well, leaping into action from the connector, going into meeting room. He finds Spirits. M80 once again struggling to find solid footing here at the start of the round, and up against one of the most difficult attacking sites to go against as well here. Really would have needed the full breadth of their roster to make this happen. The Amaru loss obviously isn't the end of the world. From a utility perspective, they're still doing okay, but player count is not healthy in any sense, considering there is 0 damage even traded on those kills. Kino ready to move in over here through laundry, but thinking twice about that now that he sees a drone coming his way and is like, wait a second, that's not mine. So that'll force him back. The Mozzie play working out very well for Benja specifically and the rest of G2 here, just with the amount of intel they've been able to steal away off of those pests. I'm assuming that that was 2 drones captured if we have the second one down here, unless they really went for the full reposition of the one they had in Small Tower earlier.
Well, M80 down into the fire minute. Looking to try and pressure things on the laundry side, at least for, I believe, Kino's perspective. He's going to get tagged up. Nothing really doing for them right now. These rounds have been so hard for them to try and garner. G2 constantly just waiting at the door. Not even opening it for him. Keeping it shut. Deadbolted. Keep the board across the 2, John. This looks like a zombie apocalypse in G2. They're hunting Nazi zombies. Oh my. Well done as they are closing out every single gap presented by M80.
Nicely done by the M80, or excuse me, by the G2 roster here as they are able to lock in their 3rd round. Now, M80 bounced back on the previous one, but immediately dropping it as we go back over to that lower site. G2 also rotating themselves towards Kids, where, once again, things have looked fine based on the previous play. It's only that tertiary site where they struggled so far.
We just have to see M80 find something on one of these tried and true sites of G2, and really tried and true sites of Oregon. This is what you practice for, that tertiary site kind of in the background. You're looking to really deal some damage on these main points that the defense wants to try and hit. So far, it has not been able to come through for M80. Very similar circumstances provided for G2 though, so hopefully M80 have something in mind for us here. Going to keep the Gara hook in play. Gomez will be the one shifting towards Yana for this, and Yaga back onto the buck.
10 seconds left.
As M80 have locked in their roster, now getting prepared to move forward here. G2 as well, a very balanced take on things yet again for their 2nd floor hold. Big emphasis on utility mitigation. So we have both the Wamai as well as the laser gates coming out from Virtue there. Smoke also going to be helping out with delaying things. And Benja, I mean, it worked so well on the previous round. Might as well bring the Mozzie out to play yet again. It seems like it was having good effectiveness on his first play. We'll see if it's going to continue, though, as M80 probably going to be a little bit more aware of those pests. Doubt they want to give those free drones over to their opponents as much as they did on the previous round.
Definitely made things difficult. That's even past the man advantage G2 was able to pick up quite early. See if M80 can try and right those wrongs. Quite a slow build up here for at least the first 45, but that's due to the drone game before they get pushing in. And that's the thing about Siege, not much action when it comes to actual player movement. Lots of action when it comes to those drones as they clear things out. M80 will just have to wait and see what they can do with the info as it pours in. Hasn't made its way towards Doki just yet. Waiting for this tide to come. M80 will work their way up towards the big window, and it looks like this is going to be the opportunity that they're building up towards. Doki, he might go for the swing.
Wind it up.
Oh, Gomez on the drone. So unfortunate for him. He's caught completely off guard. Doki can now just maintain his Z position. He'll back off, forcing M80 to try and get into a fight. They've already lost another man here, John. This is looking like a 4-2 split for G2.
Timing play works out brilliantly for G2. As Stokes mentioned, they're looking to try and lock in things for the G2 roster. Spirits going to be trying to set himself up for a hop-in. This is where things are going to get a little bit more drastic for him to try and work towards those. Once the drones are in proper position, he's going to be flying in blind. He goes for it anyway, though, and Benja more than ready for the challenge. However, not forever. Diaz establishes a late top white cross and does take him back down. But at the cost now of that, Amaru Hoppin is going to leave things in a little bit more of a peculiar spot for the rest of M80. No longer with the confidence to fully fling themselves at this site. Yaga, you can see, slowly trying to creep forward here. Doki finding some serious damage thrown out against him, mainly coming in from Diaz here. The impact trying to hold back the assault from M80, but it's not really going to work out all that well. Flash dump lands directly on top of Doki, and he's in the corner waiting for that to fade away.
Oh, he gets curious, though. What do we know about curiosity? Well, it kills the cat. Doki's down for the count. It's a 3 versus 3, doable for M80. Minimal time remain, though. Nice shots here from Yaga on the entry, able to deal with the Attic player, but now this is where the rest of G2 needs to stand tall once again. Diaz down, big kills here for Alamau out of the SMG-11, and he might be the Reaper here for M80. Yaga, he doesn't have time! M80 can't get it done yet again. The 4-1 split in favor of G2. I was getting a little ahead of myself there in the midst of that round, but an opportunity actually presenting itself to G2 to make this a 5-1 half.
5-1 in the favor of G2 indeed as they lock in a massive advantage, or at least look to do so on this round. Meeting Hall and Kitchen is the site that they go to yet again to try and accomplish that. Keep in mind, though, this is where things went awry. Did not have the proper setup to deal with M80's clear for this one. Also going to rotate the site, if memory serves me correctly. They did try to play Cafeteria on the previous hold, and well, initially we saw that setup lead into some pretty decent results. Now they're going to try to play it over here on the inside of a meeting instead to peel things back a little bit further, deny the initial map presence for M80, and hopefully make it a bit more of a difficult task to execute here.
Look at the castle barricades working their way in for G2. No sledge play. We're going to need some explosives from M80. Have the frags, do potentially have some breaching charges that they can use, but I mean, even past that, they don't want to try and abuse this back end. They have the means of production when it comes to gathering control of a place like Meeting, and that's more than likely where we'll end up docking this boat, as M80 will potentially look for a stage plant. Looks like we got some panels missing there on the far side. I think they've actually just straight up destroyed a lot of these. Oh yes, they've stretched out the site actually on both ends. Not only here, but also in Meeting, they have the soft destruction dealt with for stage. This is usually reinforced, so a lot of angles for M80 to worry about, and a couple of things in addition that they might not be used to when it comes to this site.
M80 continue to take a very slow roll to this. As we're going to see them try to line themselves up for a quicker swing in through Cafeteria. Have the territory open for the taking now. Virtue, of course, trying to stand in the way of that. And he'll be the first one to call out. They are losing presence. Benja as well, trying to sustain over by, well, anywhere really at this point, as he loses the castle barricade immediately while he is crossing the divide that it now has created. Thankfully, is not spotted quickly enough, so he's able to make it across, get himself upstairs here, and into a better spot to play out the rest of this round here. Hopefully standing in the way of Keno, and the rest of M80's clear.
My device is ready.
Well, looking for what they could potentially get on this top floor, and getting this clear pushed up towards the cafe side. I have a line shift here, John. Looks like they could potentially try and work their way over for Big Tower, but G2 has expected this. That's what Alamau's position's for. He's got some ADS in there as well, so probably has a lot of razor blooms around too. Could be the hop in here from Spirits. It's very worrisome as of right now. Alamau Oh, he's actually got the shotty right here on the stairwell instead. Spirit's going to be able to take down Blur, and this is starting to build up to a positive play for M80, at least with that initial pick.
Ready to trigger.
Definitely still could see Alamau make a big play with this shotgun, though. Doesn't look very menacing, but mind you, this thing can sing for sure. Once we see the swings come forward here from M80 deeper into the back of stage, he'll get his chance to test things out. At the moment, just on drone duty more than anything, knocking out any intel these guys try to gather for themselves.
Here's the push.
It's just going to be the Echo first going forward, rather the clone from the Yana, so it does not reveal the hold just yet. Diaz as well with a top crunch on this one. It is going to be difficult, mind you, for Alamau to pull off that type of performance. That many players attempting to crunch him out. Spirits and Gomez, and Spirits again for a triple already on this round. Just walk through the G2 defense, if you can even call it that. Unable to put much pressure back onto M80 whatsoever here, and Spirits once more claims that final kill also.
We're not losing by a lot. We're not getting shit on. Like,
And now we have defense.
yes.
Let's go, boys.
Very well done from M80. Able to at least get one more round under their belt, make this feasible for them.
Now the fun starts.
And you heard it there first from, I believe, Virtue. Now the fun starts. As G2 will be over on the offensive side now, and it's going to be a laundry supply room defense to start us off from M80. A decently successful offensive half there from M80, but G2 throwing a lot of looks at them that they really weren't up to snuff on. Able to really pick apart M80's initial entry, get those big players off the board, and obviously translate that into a pretty successful late round. Now for M80, the shoe's on the other foot. They're going to head downstairs and try and work on the building blocks that they've gathered for themselves. A little padding here before G2 pushes it to the penultimate points. And potentially the match as well, which would spell the demise of M80 here at this tournament.
5 seconds left.
And so as M80 looks to try and save their scoreline yet again after having claimed that second round at the tail end of the first half, and we'll see if the defense gives any better results over to M80. You heard them talking about it there in the side swap as well. We're not losing by a lot, going to our better side now. So we'll see if things are going to work out a bit better here for M80. Now that they have that extra confidence brewing into their side of the court, they're already able to control an advantage back on map number 1 by playing things out from this side. Obviously, the map plays a bit differently than it does Villa, so they're going to have to play things a bit closer to the chest, and that still could create its own series of issues for the G2 roster. However, we are regardless seeing them stack up now for their initial clear, as they'll attempt to move things in from that front door side. Only really one player trying to push it from the back of Big Tower, so.
Silence across Oregon, to be expected with the basement defense, though. G2 have to get the keys to the castle. Those keys happen to be in Blur's back pocket. Somebody go get the super. Get it open. That'll be the X-Kairos that they'll be using to get those hatches broken up. Still have to deal with some of the harder utility around the area, like these Banshees. Going to need an explosive for that on the back main stairs. Still some of my discs around 2. Past that, though, G2 really just trying to process how the basement is set up, where these key positions are going to be, such as Spirits, such as Yaga in this freezer hallway. More than likely already predicting Diaz as he will be in the most known position in the basement, the elbow area. You can always assume somebody's going to be playing around that, especially with the shield in play. More drone work here for G2 before they make their next step. It's going to be a Rotero drone that works its way in, and it'll actually end up taking out that shield there from Kino. No other deployable shields to try and add back to this.
Spirits and the rest of G2, or Spirits and the rest of M80 rather, simply waiting out the play from G2 as they put themselves up on top of the backstairs push. The rest of the team in position here now with 44 seconds left. We do need to start seeing them take some serious map control away. Otherwise, M80 will be more than ready for the challenge against them here. Have not been able to put the right foot forward. Yep, that may also be part of the plan inside of this execute. Flashes and the works coming forward, but Yaga, like I said, ready. However, Alamau gets a very unsuspecting trade. Gomez goes unnoticed, though, in the depths of construction. He'll be able to pick up one as well. Still alive and in the fight also is Doki. He'll reduce down to being the last player standing here for G2, trying to clutch it out 1v3. It's looking good for M80 to lock this one down, but Doki's still going to give it his all as he tries to forge himself into a clutchable area. Goes back in, grabs the case, now going to try and work himself towards the plant, but ends up swinging the angle while still mid-reload. Diaz ends it instead. G2 claim that, or excuse me, M80 claim the pickup here.
Kids first?
And that defensive end from M80 finally getting around to us, and a successful round as well. A little worrisome there when it came to the offensive side, but to be expected when it comes down to it on Oregon. So see if they can potentially keep this ball rolling. G2 not really able to get any serious consideration towards the site. A lot of time spent working things like info game and trying to get rid of some of these pieces of utility that were holding back the push from G2, like the Banshees with the Roteros as well as the deployable shields. But that left G2 at low time, and not only that, but a pretty hot drop from them as M80 was able to collect a lot of the entry kills, making it nigh impossible for them, although Doki was looking like could potentially get something done inside of that 1 versus 3. Either way, though, G2 still ahead by a round, so still have the means to try and start picking up some more, start heading towards that final score line. It's going to be a top floor defense here from M80.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
And as M80 now position themselves into it, only 1 round away from the comeback. Yogg trying to swing out as well, immediately going for a peek over by the front doorway. Does give away his own position, obviously, but this early in the round, that's not much of a problem. He can still easily rotate back upstairs, get himself into a much safer spot. Can't necessarily say the same for Gomez here, as he's nearly caught out. G2 committing themselves into the garage first as Benja takes that first strike against Gomez. And attempts to knock him down, unsuccessful though. He just knocks off about 1/3 of his overall HP. Benja, he'll try to move himself forward instead. Still on his solo mission right now, but it could yield results if he's willing to commit to the inside of security. Player on cams right now. Here we go, the walk up and the easy kill against Spirits to claim 1 of the extensions from M80. Yogg with another one as well, though. Trade it right back into M80's favor. Catches Alamau on the exchange as he attempts to work himself in through backstage. Get some access there for himself as well as the rest of the team here. Hopefully puts M80 on a better path towards preventing the ascension of G2 up onto the 2nd floor. For the most part, though, really only having to deal with Alamau on the inside of the building currently. Doki also, I think, going to try to position himself over towards those white stairs for a push in that direction, but like we said before, Benja still looking to try and cause some problems on his own regard on that lurk, just unable to isolate out the M80 individuals so far. One dodged away, scopes in onto it, Gomez brought down low. Benja's not convinced he brought it down low enough, though. Spots, I believe, that Valkyrie camera as he rotates away, and Doki is going to get confirmation on one. Virtue with another nade toss-up from below. Also, ditches Yogg, gets rid of him. Only 2 left alive for the defenders, but they're still fighting back. May not be able to stop this plant from going down, but Kino certainly keeping the fight alive. Benja hiding amongst the corpse of his teammate, or at least the injured body of his teammate, is able to steal back that trade, revives his injured teammate, brings Gomez back from it as well for a 1v3.
Oh, Gomez trapped on white, droned as well. Practically impossible as the cross is being held. G2 get their advantage back here. So they're up 2 rounds.
With a nade from Big Window.
Good fucking job, guys. What's that?
Taking those nades in consideration, that was something that also was talked on and touched upon by Fabian in their timeout back on Villa. Their inability to drone things out on the floor above and line things up for the frag grenades, but definitely not the case this time around, huh, John? As they were able to immediately remove M80 via the same strategy, just reapplied onto Oregon.
Certainly. Keep in mind, folks, G2 up 5-3 already with map number 1 over on Villa claimed as their own pick as well. Which means M80 is up against potential elimination here now. Another North American team. Nearly having to say bye-bye to them this early on in the bracket. It'll be a real shame, of course. We've yet to reach the true playoff stage where we'll have our crowd, where you folks at home will be joining us starting on Friday. M80 wants the chance to play in front of that, but they need to close out on this match to get it. And unfortunately, their chances are slipping further and further away. Heading instead over to the G2 roster as things currently stand. Bit of a remix for G2. A couple player swaps, a couple operator swaps. Ends up being all 5 players changing their initial pick. We end up with a pretty balanced execute composition at the end of the day, just doubling down on the hard breach there between Blur and Doki, going for the Thermite and Ace, respectively.
Alamau playing things in where he once was on the defensive end. Saw him here inside of T1, back and forth with Kino, both of them tagging each other up. The Kino able to stay alive a little while longer. Alamau, though, will be able to claim spirits, and Kino gonna eat another bullet here, but at least gets the refrag onto Alamau. So equal footing between these two, but Yaga still with a lot of, or rather Kino still with a lot of work to do when it comes to Big Tower.
Kino's still positioned in that spot, though, because G2 do not have an easy way to clear him out. They don't have any pressure from T3, or even the top of T2 for that matter here. So Kino's smart in choosing to stick around here until they start to establish that, which to do that, they're going to have to rotate away, basically give Kino a potential 1v1 down below here. I think it's going to wait for this signal here. Here's the shots coming through, so more than likely, I'm imagining anyway, it's going to start to make his move out of here, but has to be careful on it. Certainly knows that he's being hunted. The big emphasis being put onto him specifically, so very careful with every step, but that's still not going to save him. Benja just a little bit quicker and a little bit more free-flowing there, placing himself onto the rappel, and he's going to be able to claim that kill. M80 find a response against Virtue. Already over halfway through this round. 4 out of 10 players dead. It's down to a 3v3 for our final fight between the remaining players. As Diaz simply waits for pressure from the front side. Has the wrong read on it currently, though, as we're not really going to see much of anything coming from G2 in that direction. They're executing entirely from backstage. So we will need to see Diaz rotate to that accordingly. And I believe he has just caught onto it. He's gotten the call from his teammates, so he's going to look to get in the way of this one. But the plant now starting to go back down. It's a hard repeat for Diaz, so the plant is going to be clean here. Just not enough presence at the back of the site. 2 more frags. Make it 3 for G2. And they're well on their way to the 2-0 shutdown now.
Guys, it's gonna be bunker now. Let's go bunker again. The execute is fucking yes. We're gonna win this round, okay? The next round on kids, you sure guys wanna do
Do a trophy.
Trophy? You sure? Okay.
Yes,
okay. But I think, bro, watch out wide. Okay, watch out, watch out.
I have a bench wide.
I don't know if you start below, Gomes. I think you start close to fall back to, because they're gonna try to hunt.
I'm just playing inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay? And after that, on dining, I think we need to put more things for
Are we going dining or meeting?
No, sorry, meeting. I think we need to put more things for you. I think put like a banshee, put a banshee on the door, you know, the tower door.
Plank store.
Yeah, plank store. And I think we put one mice for him. So, okay? Yeah. Let's fucking go. It's fucking defense on org. We're gonna win that shit.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
All right, so here we go yet again into yet another round here. G2, their first opportunity to lock down the series inside of this map. M80 with 3 rounds needed now. They need to be perfect. They'll start out with the basement hold, so theoretically, this one should not be too much of a problem, but I said that before. Unfortunately, things have ended up going the other way regardless. And with a pause now coming in for M80 that also gave the tack time out to G2 also. So Fabian may have just given his team the winning strategy to try and deploy towards on this very round. We are seeing that blitz flash from Alabama. Wait a second to see if it's going to stick. Something in the drone phase may make them decide to take this in another direction. The Malusis could be quite bothersome for Alamo trying to rush play, especially onto the inside of construction. If we're going to see one of the Banshees go down in the usual position just to the left of the doorway here. And there we go. Speak of the devil. It's going to go down right now. The blitz stays in, though. So let's see what G2's cooking.
They turned my tunes off, though. Did you hear the lo-fi roll in there? That was actually nice. I kind of like that. Can you just keep it going for us? No. Alamo actually going to be enveloping Spirit's playstyle here with that blitz that you touched on.
See, now this is going to be dirty if they went on this too. It's like you're gonna knock them out with their own strategy. Like,
insult to injury, salt balloon for sure. Logic bomb out. Ben just got some sneaky plays going on as well. I think they're going to build up to the execute here.
Don't think it's going to be a rush play through construction, as we oftentimes see the blitz try to be used in this situation here. As Stokes mentioned, it's a slowed, usual execute ultimately. I think the blitz may just be utilized to either get down through one of these pain points a bit more quickly, more than likely back stairs or E-hatch. Could be construction too, really could send him anywhere.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be the usage for it here. Bit of an earlier execute potentially coming in, though, as some players from G2 are starting to head in that direction, and they are getting good intel as well.
Yeah, Blitz is a menace when it comes to CQC combat, and that's exactly where you want him. Something like Elbow works out perfectly. And the other good news is, might not have given up the goods just yet. This info might still be undisclosed to the defense. You can hear Blitz pretty easily, though, so it just kind of depends on what info they've been able to garner. Smoke's out now. That's only going to be against a clone of Doki, though, and Spirits will dispatch quite handedly. So a lot of this round remaining for G2, but we know it's a powder keg that they have waiting here for M80.
Runs in yet again here. G2 trying to play on the info dump. Spirits only just now taking it out. They still have another one pre-established over the top of main stairs, and I don't think Spirits can really spot. A little bit out of his vision pane there. If you're looking at the silhouette, yep, you can see Virtue just slowly try to creep it forward to prevent it getting killed. I think he noticed it now. He just goes for the impact kill on it. That'll work out just as well in this situation. They need to prevent the info bleed. M80 continuing to be stalwart in those positions and not giving over anything to G2. G2 now starting to peek in themselves. The auto-clone in first, just to try and figure out what the layout looks like here as they move forward. And now Alamau rushing it forward. The flash in. Did he get him, though? He's not sure of it there. He has the hand in front of his face, but it's not going to be enough of an indication. He didn't have enough confidence to swing it forward. Ends up going down, and the rest of the execute falls with it. M80 hold the line. Blur is left as the last player standing. A 1v5. The first damage of the round from G2, only just now being claimed. This is not realistic for Blur. M80 look like they're holding on to lock down the basement in a flawless round hold.
Let's go, boys. Tomorrow, so much better than these guys, bro. Trophy hold.
Well, Vivas was right about one thing. They're going to win the next round, and they're definitely going to head towards kids. So let's see what G2 can do about this. That round not very successful. A lot of build-up for not that much of a payoff. Especially for the elbow play there from Alamau, just really not working out. Able to get the stun on the smoke, but like you said, not having the willingness to try and rush him down after that. Kind of just had to play it out as he knew there was more than likely going to be some supporting angles there for that smoke player. Didn't want to risk it too much, but eventually ended up risking it all, didn't he? As he went for that melee, ended up missing that there and getting blasted by the shotgun. But G2 still with plenty of opportunities to close out things here on Oregon, as they've already guaranteed overtime at a minimum.
The G2 know that they are in a safe position. The question now stands as to whether that's creating a little bit of a lackadaisical approach to some of these rounds, but personally, I doubt it.
10 seconds remaining.
Just putting a thought in your minds as G2 sets themselves up here for another execute to close down upon this game with. Over on the M80 side of things, the usual suspects, at least as far as I'm concerned, minus that Oryx for Gomez, are in play here for the upstairs hold, but considering Gomez's role, should work perfectly fine as far as I'm aware.
I have to agree with you there, John. Weather report looking quite nice here for M80. Looks like we have a heavy thunderstorm with the likes of Oryx moving up to the Middle East. Gomez gonna be standing here, waiting on G2. Not very active play here. They're just going to play things quite tight-knit on the physical site. Gomez obviously running an op where you can hop through hatches and do a lot of quite explosive maneuvers with his dash, but feeling as though this is going to be played best close to the chest, at least here for the Kids Dorms defense.
G2 playing it slowly. They do not want to trip things up as they went for the all-in execute on the previous round. And hey, the gamble strat, it's attempted with those extra rounds. Good to get a little live test of it, essentially. And it just didn't work out that time. So now they're falling back into a much more normal pattern of execution. Those noises you heard are the breaches that Yog is looking at currently to open things up on the inside of Attic. Alamau claimed the opening kill of the round here as well. Kino goes down to him. So Malusi eliminated, so no important utility going down. Overall, you're not going to have to worry about that with these eliminations against M80, as there's no smoke. No one keeping any crucial utility in the pocket, save for maybe the Nitro sitting on DS there.
There it is, Gomez with a big find, and he's actually going to run out for it, and he's got, no! Gomez! No, Gomez!
Is so awkward. What is going on?
Oh my goodness! Am I casting Valorant? What is happening right now? That was ridiculous. Oh my, M80. Almost, I mean, yeah, they might lose us out on this round. What the hell was that, Gomez? Almost gets the kill on the bus player, but Doki, he makes it out alive, and then he dies to Benja as he dashes past him into the lobby, risking everything, risking their entire tournament off of a run out with Oryx.
Oryx, more like Jet with the way he was playing it right there. Dashing out, dashing back in, past another member of the G2 attack that was also on cams. Oh, Benja gonna sink one of the final two remaining as well. It just does not get better for M80. So unfortunate to see the run end like this, but it's not technically over yet. Spirits alone here in the 1v3. That's the clone going down first from Doki. Damage already found against him. They have the intel, and they have the shot to knock him down. G2 close it out in 2-0 fashion and get themselves back onto the main stage of the 6th Invitational here in Montreal.
Fantastic play from G2. M80, they go from bad to worse, just like my voice crack. But G2, it's bad boys for life over here, baby. They are looking so solid, especially with Fabian at the helm, the coach, bringing so much positive play, so much insight to this team, and they are constantly finding success, even up against such talented rosters like M80. And you have got to feel for our pseudo-Brazilian roster in NA.
M80, like we said, keep in mind, this is only the beginning of their journey, truly. Obviously, this roster has a legacy that goes back to the old Exit days of last year, where they were able to surprise everyone with their initial performance, not only in Stage 1 of the NAL, but of course, the following majors after that, too. I think